This is a new book I'm starting to read. The Governor General's Kitchen, Philippine Culinary Vignettes and Period Recipes, 1521 to 1935. By Feliz Santamaria, published by Anvil. It's my mom's. I think she knows the author because there's a dedication. The table of contents is fun because it's based on, instead of parts, and by courses, so as if it were like a recipe book. And there are actual recipes in this book. So in the back there's a there's a recipe index. I didn't find any pre-colonial recipes though, but maybe there are. It's just that these are organized in the types of food. So yeah, not chronologically. So though there's a lot of interesting, it's a collection of essays. There's a lot of interesting topics on the different chapters. I'm not going to skip ahead. I'm going to read this in order so that I get the whole context, because it seems to be chronological in like the timeline of the Philippines. So yeah, I'm still in the introduction and the prefaces, and will share anything interesting that I find later on. Filipinos are known for their hospitality, and it seems that this dates back to even before the Spanish arrived. And what better way to be hospitable than by offering food? So there is a Visayan saying, a sincere invitation is augmented by a pull, meaning pulling them to the dining table. So as I said in my last video, one of the ways Filipinos show their hospitality before is by offering betel nut to chew. So a visitor should not need to remind their host to be offered buyo or betel nut when visiting. Another traditional saying is, if the host is heavy at heart, the guest will not feel full. Or nagpapakain mat masama sa loob, ang pinakakain hindi nabubusog. So one bad side is that sometimes Filipinos would actually get into servitude or debt, or would just spend too much on weddings, christenings, graduations, fiesta, etc. So, but there were also some beliefs associated with being hospitable. So the Ilocanos believes that the Kaibaan fairies who live in termite nests and coconut groves can help even the poorest farmer prepare enough food to please the most demanding guests. Ifugaos, they believe that binubud, spirits of the feast, they tie up the stomachs of the guests so that they will be satisfied with just a little food. So I guess going about it the other way, instead of having too much food, let's tie up the stomachs so we don't need to feed them that much. So the Gadangs have a song that goes, after translation is, I am extending my thanks and praise for your goodness for taking us in. I hope you will never regret that you willingly took us in. So this is from the visitor's perspective. Old Filipino words related to eating. So everyone knows busog, which is being full, but there are other words too, like pasasa, which is enjoying abundant food almost to the point of being satisfied, while bantad is to be satisfied from eating. So intemperance from overindulgence, basically eating too much, is bultak. And usually after bultak, you'll get buntad or liting, which is a distended abdomen after eating to the full, or a giant belly. Labsoy is the act of walking around with a giant belly to just show that you are superior in that you have a lot of food to eat. Voracious eating. So lamon, everyone knows lamon. And then there's laklak and habhab. I haven't encountered those yet. There's even lamon for babies, which is called lungad, meaning milk or food spewing out of an infant's mouth from overfeeding or illness. Indigestion, the words are empatzado or ajito, although these are adapted from Spanish. And a lot of words for gas because of overeating. So in Tagalog, it's pamawo, but there's also usog, kabag, tabol. In Bicolano, it's butog and sudol. In Pampangan, it's asug. In Hiligaynon, it's bufod. Hiligaynon and Cebuano. In Pangasinan, it's lebag. In Samar and Leyte, it's lagdos. And Ilocano, it's busok. So more words in the next video. Old Filipino words related to eating, part 2. Alright. So, if you get dizzy or convulsions because of indigestion, that's called sawan. And tanim is the discomfort because of indigestion. If you eat disagreeable foods, which include like uncooked vegetables, the intoxication or giddiness that you feel after that is referred to as alibadbad. Stomach pain from smelling something really bad will give you balis. And so this one's pretty interesting. I've never heard about this. So the most perplexing stomach ache is himalit, which you get by sitting at someone else's place. So stay in your chair. So samid is choking on water or food. Ngima is food that is on the food that gets stuck on the top of your teeth. And tinga, I know, ngima is the first time I've heard of that. Tinga is food that is between your teeth. So something almost everyone has experienced. Fish bones getting stuck in your throat. This is called pakyad in Old Tagalog. But anything else that is not a fish bone is called bikig in Tagalog and duyi in Pampangan. More in part 3. Old Filipino words related to eating, part 3. So, you know that feeling after you've overeaten that you don't want to eat for a long time? That term is called nait. So the more common word I hear is sawa. But apparently sawa is referred to an overabundance of anything, not only food. So when you're talking about just food, it's called nait. Another word is habas. Suya is the particular feeling of having eaten too much fatty food and you don't want to eat any more fatty food. So I get this a lot, suya. Too much sugar in comparison creates a giddiness called tusing. So tusing is sugar rush. And this one could also experience malastiga, the surfeit or boredom from eating the same food over and over again. So actually that for me is what sawa means, sawa. So I guess this is maybe a more specific term, malastiga. Umay, I also get this a lot. So that's when you've eaten too many flavorful things, too much flavorful things, and you get umay. More in part 4. Old Filipino words related to eating, part 5. So if you don't get to eat, you get gutom or hunger, which is the same word in Bicol, Hiligaynon, Maguindanao, Cebuano, Samar, Leyte, and Tagalog. In Pampanga, it's danupan. Prolonged hunger is huyong, and starvation is malaga. So when people are starving, it physically shows in pale ring eyes, which is called hiluka. So when you're just starting to feel hungry, that initial hunger pang is called kalam and pasal in Tagalog. In Pampanga, it's garukgok and galukgok. So then the initial faintness or weakness that sets from getting hungry is called dalurok. So hunger was a very bad thing to early Filipinos because it was a very, hunger is bad, but you feel it directly and it has a direct impact on your life. So two metaphors to describe this is hid asin, which means scraping up salt. Basically, you're so hungry that you'll eat anything and scrape salt. Then there is himod kawali, which is someone who, for lack of food, would lick the frying pan clean like an animal. In Tagalog, intense poverty is called karalitaan, which is a situation that can be caused by tagutom or a season of hunger. Uplak is extreme hunger, a condition familiar during tagbisi, a period of starvation. And during a time of extreme hunger, this is when usually a caregiver will practice kato, which is abstinence because as all parents would know, you would give your food to your kids even if that meant you going hungry. For more videos on pre-colonial and indigenous Philippine culture, folklore, and mythology, subscribe to my YouTube channel and look for me on TikTok.